Hello world. This microphone is already like looking at my throat. I'm gonna have to not down this thing. Excuse me. Tonight's featured reader is Rosa Lane. Rosa is author of Called Back. That's a Tupelo Press. And that was last year. In Queer Conversation with Dickinson, winner of 2025 Maine Poetry Book Award. Chouteau's Chalk, winner of the Georgia Poetry Prize. Tiller North, winner, NIEA Book Award. And Roots and Reckonings. Other published work has appeared in Cloudbank, Cutthroat, Nimrod, and elsewhere. And we're very, I think, lucky to have Rosa drive up today just to see us.
Yeah.
And with other friends. So, please, Rosa.
My life is like an oar, dragging the whole ocean behind it. In the morning wake of waves, I hem my eye along the seam of sky and water. I want the thin line fastened to my waist. I want to jump overboard, swim where the gull can wrap its wings around me and peck from my skull all that is extra. I wrote that poem 50 years ago, and this one I wrote before I was born. You'll see what I mean. Electricity buzzes the bulb in Maine's humid heat. June bugs bomb the porch light with spiny legs, date-colored and oversized. Spring peepers pin the night, pitch a universe in my mother's kitchen, except I haven't yet occurred to her. She is 16 and I'll be hers in less than a year. The boy who'll be my father, his body big and husky. He rinses dried splashes of work from the day's ocean in a small blue basin, enameled and filled with hand pump water drawn from the well. Fireflies like the field of flame. Conceived in the heat of summer, I appear a small spark of night, planted in the deep crevice between them. Thank you so much, Barb. It's so wonderful to be here. In 2019, you were the host and curating back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were in a different place. Maybe it was Marco Polo, I don't know. But COVID hit. So I feel like this is a long time coming. I am thrilled. I love Mark's poetry. I look for it when I see it on Facebook posted. So I am really thrilled to be here and thrilled to have you all here. I'll be reading from Called Back. Called Back. Those two words are the last two words Emily Dickinson wrote. This book memorializes those two words. Most scholars agree that Susan Huntington Dickinson was Emily's core love. Emily writes to Susan, and I'll let you consider this. In late June 1852, Emily writes to Susan, who's teaching math in Baltimore, Maryland. I hope for you so much and feel so eager for you. Feel that I cannot wait. Feel that now I must have you. That the expectation once more to see your face again makes me feel so hot and feverish, and my heart beats so fast. I don't know how scholars can step over that beautiful expression of homoerotic passion, but they did. Like most of you, I learned Emily Dickinson to be an obscure poet, writing obscure poetry, hunkered down in a corner bedroom, perhaps because of a failed lover or heterosexual love, a mystery man that no one could ever figure out. Some thought Samuel Bowles, some thought Judge Lord, and a few other contenders, but nothing ever has come as close as this. So whether as a front marriage or maybe for financial reasons, Susan, even though she had a teenage relationship, friendship with Susan, married Emily Dickinson's brother, Austin. Now, there was an agreement before the marriage that Susan said she'd marry Austin if he would agree to a platonic relationship, which he agreed to. So I think this went on for a few years after they married on July 1, 1856, and then everything kind of fell apart. Well, in the sense that she did end up having children with Austin. Although Austin had a very public affair with Mabel Loomis Todd for 14 years. So Susan and Austin lived in the Evergreens, which was just a very small path from the homestead where Emily lived with her sister and domestic help and parents. So they were very, very close. They were just a hedge apart. So recent research has brought the new dimension of Emily Dickinson to light that have been overlooked for some reasons, straight-washed, sometimes I call it, for more than 100 plus years, dimensions which have LGBTQ plus significance. So Callback gives voice to these emerging queer dimensions, each poem catalyzed by a selected epigraph from Dickinson's work. So what I will do is read the title of the poem that I wrote, and then the epigraph. Sometimes there are two epigraphs, and then I'll repeat the title so you'll know where my poem begins. In the first poem, you'll hear the word Nantes, Nantes, which is a city at the mouth of the Loire River in France, known for the sardine industry back in the 19th century. And you'll hear the name Maggie, who was a domestic servant for the Dickinsons, who was also Emily's confidant. French sardines. Wild nights, were I with thee. Wild nights would be our luxury. Dickinson, number 249. French sardines. French sardines arrive from Boston, tin-plated. Maggie levers her can cutter at the edge, jacks her hand around the lid of hunger's fulcrum. Silver-skinned and nested, their caudal fins swim a sea of marinade, white salt-cured, drenched in extra virgin, beheaded and gutted by the women of Nantes. We lay each body across a soda cracker I have for days dreamed of, craving, nights behind each pearly eye. We swim up the fishweir. We spawn in sandy silt along the odic thighs of the Loire. We flutter our little deaths. Thank you. We can keep the it may be to the end if I deserve it. Continue to deserve it. In the next poem, Emily had many code names for Susan. Some of those include Gentian, Pearl, Rose, Eden, Heaven, Cleopatra, Eva, and Vesuvius. So in this next poem, I use Eve, one of the code names for Sue, in the title, and Vesuvius, the volcano that destroyed Pompeii. As I think that's it. Picture that she's at her writing table. For Eve at the Evergreens, the martyr poets did not tell, but wrought their pang in syllable. Dickinson, number 544. On the brink of spilling everything, times swell and bead. I tap the well's rim, pinch my dip pen's throat, nib scratch manila from iron gull ink, each excess rocker blotted. I bleed another black cloud, backlit by lambent light. My sheet grows an orchard where you graze. I hunt your cloven path by way of lava heat. Fevered in that trough between couplets, our breasts peak ash. Choking Vesuvian, our sapphic love disallowed by blueprint. You dissever, I belly lock and refuse to pass the key to the inevitable buck, hovering our hungry fence at dusk, indelible. I marry my writing table, give it my whole hand. Amputate my freckled bosom, make me bearded like a man. Now those two Dickinson lines that appear in her poem, Dickinson poem number 1737, been largely overlooked except for one scholar, Maria Popova, who in 2019 really dealt with those two lines and acknowledged them. Otherwise they have rested kind of fallow. So the next poem is a response to those two lines. These two demands, they appear as demands and they have exclamation points, so they have some exclamatory power to them in the poem themselves, in the first 4 lines of that poem. My poem, Père de Cour, converses with these two lines, as I mentioned, and refers to a 16th century phrase that refers or describes 2 pair of bodies, breasts, which also names a corset. And you'll hear the word wan, which refers to just a pale color. Père de Cour. Amputate my freckled bosom, make me bearded like a man. Dickinson, number 1737. Père de Cour. Père de Cour. A pair of bodies hangs from my chest, sistered and whaleboned in a cuff. I want nothing of them. Still tethered and corseted, these oddments, small thimbles, 2 berries made for the mouth, speak a primal language not mine. A wolf's ravish, or the infant's pucker for milk, a utensil gorged and sucked. Those fleshy hills are there for swallowing. 1, 2 drifts of snow, windblown, renounced, raised by slice or tear, my bust blanked, my sternum flanked by ribs basal flat, like paired susurras. Phantom nipples hover endless pause. my hairless chin densed and wild, my mouth squared, I am my beard, edged along the jaw, tinted curls, free fall, repronouned, plumed, and proud.
We'd like a clap.
Pardon me?
We'd like a clap.
Okay. So not only did Dickinson and Emily have code words for Sue, but she did also for men. They were divers. And men as divers could dive for the pearl, pearl being a code name for Sue. So you'll hear divers in the epigraph of Dickinson's poem that introduces the next poem. You'll hear the word meerschaum in the poem, which is a carved smoking pipe, and the word latakia, that refers to a mild sweet tobacco smoked in the 19th century. And the word verboten means forbidden by an authority. Name of the poem is Othered I Speak. Her breast is fit for pearls, but I was not a diver. Her brow is fit for thrones, but I have not a crest. Dickinson, number 84. Othered I speak. I am wrong to start with, to have. To strop and hone the blade, shave without a tuft. To bind, bone wrap my breast, they will not leave. To slag my trousers and waistcoat in a dark no one sees. To ramrod the barrel, guncock, lean a corner, the house dead ends. To hike sails, captain my ship, doldrum drifting, nowhere windless. To bypass the lungs, drop my voice to the diaphragm, timbre gravitas. To smoke my meerschaum, virile and fragrant, blending latakia, smoke rings in solo. I kerf the flesh of Adam's apple, verboten. Pith the larynx, my mouth plosive, hush. Emily often spoke to an entity. We don't know if this person was a real person or not, but she referred to master. And of course that word is loaded. So she also referred to this master as a sir, but it's unknown what gender really some think that the sir is really Susan. It could be an aspect of Emily herself. She wrote 3 letters to master, none of them sent. They were all handwritten on pretty formal, a couple of them on formal letter paper. And no one knows who Master is. And I have a series of poems that are entitled Dear Sir, and I numbered them. Dear Sir number 7 is the one I'll read now. Dear Sir number 7. 2 epigraphs. And they no more remember me, nor ever turn to tell me why. Oh, Master, this is misery. Love's stricken why is all that love can speak. Dickinson, number 1368. Dear Sir, letter number 7. Tell me, sir, why I wake with a bird in my mouth, why my heart seeks a nest in a sparrow's beak when I worship want on the tip of her wing, why when I visit Eden I want Eve, not Adam, why I long for doors I cannot open, why I plant myself in situ, move about light yet cannot lift my feet, why I live more myth than element, Why I fold myself in a letter delivered elsewhere, my address unopened, still lying on the table. Why my finger inserts the loop of a hot teacup, its curved lip sips kisses of future not yet. Why the moon comes to my window, full-bellied stares. Why, when I reach for her, she empties, turns sickle, leaves me in shreds. Because it's nearly fall, I have a fall Dear Sir letter. It's after Emily Dickinson's As Summer into Autumn Slips. It's poem number 1346. Dear Sir, last of the Canada geese forms and frets, spearheads south. Their honking yodels curdle and break Amherst's blue hour. The north has come to get us early. Crows lout aggravate their thievery, pecking harvest remains. Maggie pushes the hen onto the spit for supper, boils summer's epilogue. The cook stoves crack and pop. Bessie's feathers clotted beside the fresh stump. Her spirit feet still puffed, hacked at the hock joint, strut her sacrifice into another world I succumb to eat. Today I recover from the attic my black cape, its urgency hooked, keen-eyed. I know the wind grows near lunacy for the loose. My bulbs will freeze, dream life below zero. I comfort before the fire, chasten my future. And sir, despite slow depletion of winter's stash, I promise to minister a brave hunger. No matter survival or death for you, I foment spring's earliest blood-red bloom. Thank you. Dickinson was obsessed with death, which inspired my next poem, Limning Death. Limning in the title not only refers to give light to, but also in art outline the subject. You'll also hear the phrase, an impalement artist, associated with a spinning human target, usually called a target girl, pinned to a circular board at the mercy of a knife thrower in a circus stunt referred to as the Wheel of Death. Limning death. I felt a funeral in my brain. Dickinson, number 280. She dealt her pretty words like blades. Dickinson, number 479. Limning death. Immortalities strut around this homestead as if they own everything. Their ceremonials stop at the mantle forevering. Farthest daguerreotypes seal our faces, brass matted, muted, red velvet softens a haze of black bleeding in. My little room, more shadow than light, spins on the wheel of death. I am an impalement artist, one knife toss away from the thrower's mistake. I disappear in tiny mouthfuls each day. I study any sign of being taken. My room stunned by morning, I am still here. Yesterday I died again, swept myself into a dustpan, rattled the windows like a beggar's cup. I yearn for the perennial garden, yet I have no gender, just the moon waxing her wand at the bluff. I have two final poems to read. One is before death, and the other one is after death. Emily died on May 15th, 1886, at the age of 55. She had been ill for 2.5 years. 7 months of those years, she was bedridden. Of those years prior to her passing, she died of hypertension, which may have been complicated by her Bright's disease, which, if you don't know, was a disease of the kidneys. We don't die of that anymore. Emily left instructions to Susan to be done upon her death. Susan was to wash her body. Her coffin was to be carried by the 6 Irishmen who worked on the grounds of the homestead. They were to carry her coffin through the back door of the homestead, circling first her flower garden, and then going back and forth twice through the barn, before heading across a field of buttercups where she was laid to rest at the cemetery. You'll hear the word nyctinasty. That's the phenomenon of flowers closing at night. Transitus, when the blue mist rises. You cannot fold a flood and put it in a drawer. Dickinson, number 530. Transitus, when the blue mist rises, I hover. Only my body inhabits space. A deserted village you trespass. You bathe my streets, snuff gas lamps yellowing the common. You close my lids, clip cowlicks, understories overgrowing the banks of Fort River. I lean into the field's narrow neck. You unwrap the bandage, kiss the wound rosed by yet another May. I smell coming. You turn your back, as if you could ignore the river ascending its limbic rim, rushing past my bureau, my bed already carried down rapids. Our secret purpling hyacinths in a vase of regret. I descend the stairs in a box balanced on the shoulders of 6 Irishmen. Vinnie's violets dress my throat. The back door open to my garden. I lie in the parlor, 2 heliotropes in hand, bloodstones, earthy greens, flecked with jasper, its bright red reminder before redemption, before nyctinastic close. Wounds lay bare in even fall's last light. And this one. Dear Sir, letter number 6, sorry. After Emily Dickinson's After 100 Years, number 1147, second epigraph. Since then, 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than a day. I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity. Dickinson, number 712. Dear Sir, letter number 6. My bones lay in a bed of dust. Jangle the Stygian box. The depressed whirl of earth at the soft pock behind my headstone. My breasts disappear in cones of dreck I sweep. My beard still thickens, my hair, a river of red, extends my waist. I swim the meadow, collect stars in a basket. I see light echo shade where my horses whisper and blink a universe. I live. My sparrows wing ahead with no care for the blues left in their tailwinds. I strum my ribs full octave like a baritone lyre for the Dionysians. I chant canticles, my lungs breathe pinkest tulips. I sail the Ionian Sea, drift the lilacs. My arms unspool rings of the tallest pine. My hoofs trot the dark canter puffer's edge. I listen for syllables, pause every dash. Oh, sir, if you could have had me outlive a century, I would have known you as tutelary wave, your holograms radiating my blooms, patterns of you cohering fragrance in wavy light. The homestead and the evergreens, crisscrossing serpentine paths, never the same trajectory or loop. That strange attractor I now know as good. Thank you so much.
Wasn't that great?
Yes.
We're so lucky to have poets like Rosa to come here. Oh my gosh.
I'm lucky to have you.
Okay, a couple of things. Number one is Rosa has copies of that book in the back. And so if you'd like to get a copy of that, I think they're $20 and you can talk to her about that. There's two lists back there. One is for the open mic and one is for the mailing list. So if you want to read the open mic, you sign up on that list. And if you want to be on the mailing list, you sign up on that list. There's also wine back there. Drink all of the wine. I'm not going to drink all the wine. And there's food back there. Eat all the food. I can't eat all that food, so that's not good for me. So anyway, we'll come back after a couple of minutes for the open mic, and go get that wine, eat that food, and sign up on those lists.